Now introduced Mr. Boss into the mix, and I think it's really fun how you have Vondu Clark and you have Blaine. You really have this sort of growing rogues gallery for Liv, and so you can talk about how all those sort of different threats, will they end up sort of overlapping for her, or she kind of have to sort of deal with one at a time?
I think the thing about those three villains, and most villains in general, is they're fairly self-serving. It's unusual for them to form an alliance. So there's a little bit of overlap in some of the story, but they're definitely three people who are looking out for themselves primarily. And,
you know, with Blaine specifically, obviously, that's the biggest sort of history there. She has no reason to trust him. So even as we're seeing, you know, we're getting a lot of nuance to Blaine this season. We're learning more about him, but you know, for Liv, is there still, she needs to keep her guard up at all times with this guy?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think Liv trusts Blaine as far as she can kick him. She knows that he has the capacity to kill people in cold blood, and she has been personally hurt by decisions that he's made. So she doesn't trust him at all, but she knows that for the greater good, for them to be able to find a cure, she needs him. So they have kind of a mutual understanding, but I don't think that she would be sharing any intimate secrets with him.
Right. But sometimes maybe they have to work alongside each other, but they're both kind of wary, watching each other.
Absolutely, yeah. They feel like kind of two dogs that are on guard with their heckles up. And they have a nice rapport as well. They do have an entertaining kind of banter, but they're not relaxed. She's on guard.
It's been very interesting to see what you guys have done with Major and Liv this season, as they're trying to get back together, but that's really not easy. And, you know, as I mentioned to you yesterday, I really like the sort of depiction of a realistic way of looking at an unrealistic situation. So for the two of them, is that going to constantly be, for a while at least, figuring this out, seeing what can work, can this work at all?
Absolutely. I mean, all relationships are compromised. They just happen to have a very big compromise to make, in that she's a zombie. At least he knows now. I think that's the biggest thing that kind of gives me some hope for them, is that they're not operating blind anymore, and she doesn't have this big secret from him. Unfortunately, he has a big secret from her now, so in terms of what he's doing work-wise. So I think that it's a bit of a ticking time bomb in that sense, but in terms of how that will kind of be revealed. But it's nice that they are able to really work together and try and make it work, because she loves him dearly and doesn't want to be with anybody else.
The other sort of ticking time bomb related to that is her roommate. And is any suspicions being raised yet by Liv, or has she said all the right things so far?
I feel like it's that funny girl thing where she knows something is up with her. She knows she's a bit just hostile or edgy, kind of prickly. I don't think that she has a clue what her involvement is with Max Rager or Major or anybody, but she definitely isn't relaxed around her either. I think there's some sort of intuition that is kicked in that says this girl's a little unusual.
I have to ask you the requisite question, of which is, what are your upcoming brains? What have they asked you to do? Because it's always amazing to see what they throw at you.
Well, I'm excited. Tonight we're doing Magician Brain airing, and that was one of my favorites. I think last year at Comic-Con or something, someone asked what brain I would like to eat, and I said a magician, so it's kind of cool. Now I'm starting to feel like I have the power to make these things happen, which is alarming. I have a Stalker Brain, is just shortly after the Magician Brain airs, and I don't want to give too much away. I'm not sure how much Rob Thomas would be comfortable with me saying, but there's some diverse stuff. It's all over the map.